Welcome to this week's episode of Talent Talk. I'm your host, Gary McLean. Today we have a prestigious guest, shall we say.
I wouldn't say that, but okay.
Producer, director, actor, of course, Dalmatian Daddy, as he likes to be called. We'll get to that. And so please join me in welcoming Jayson Therrien.
Hello.
Jayson, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it. How you doing?
Good, man. Yeah, 2019's been good to me so far, and
Excellent.
2018 was good. So I'm healthy. I'm happily married.
Nice.
I have a home.
Right?
I'm not homeless. So yeah, life's good. Can't complain.
Excellent. Well, we're going to clear up the whole Dalmatian Daddy thing first.
Okay.
Just so people get an idea. So Dalmatians, obviously.
They're my breed. They are the best breed I could ever come across. They're big lovers. Whatever anyone says about Dalmatians is probably wrong, and they've never owned one. They're not aggressive. They're a little high-strung, but they are babies.
Let's start with how your career started. Like, you've been in the industry quite a while, I think, right?
Yeah, I guess how it started. So I graduated from advertising and marketing in Ontario. Did a little bit of that. Didn't really like it that much. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck win an Oscar for Good Will Hunting. And I was like, well, that looks like fun. I'm going to do that this year. And that's kind of how my journey started, which we all know is I was a little naive at the time to believe that getting an Oscar was going to be that easy. So I went back to school at like 26, 27, and then took another program of acting back in Toronto. And that's how I started.
I mean, you've got some experience now on the producing side of things.
Yeah.
Being part of, is it just the two of you? For
Yeah,
Green
me and John
Productions?
Cusack, Green Productions.
So being on that side of the fence, and being on that side of auditioning, I know you usually still go with a casting director or whatever, but
Yeah, just my two big. I've done all my casting myself except my two features.
right.
I went with Rhonda Fizecki, who's fantastic, and she's very supportive, and she I can't say enough good things about her.
Right.
And she's supportive, and she believes in us, and goes a long way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Where I was going to go with that is that, do you find that you're doing most of your casting locally, or do you find you have to still look outside province?
Yeah, so
especially when it comes to the newer features that you've done.
yeah, so I call it reverse casting. I call it like, let's see what we have and then try to fill the spots rather than like try to get your leads first. I just we audition pretty much everybody for every role, and then we see what we can pull from Calgary. It just makes sense. Makes sense to have, like, financially it makes sense. I also believe there's a lot of talent here. They get overlooked. And so, being in, I study at the Company of Rogues and doing independent projects and then doing professional projects as an actor. Like, I think I have a really good handle on the talent that's here. And I also make it my, a serious effort to see other people's work. So like if a local film is, showing at the Calgary National Film Festival, well, then I'll go. I put the priority of seeing local films over seeing any other films. And I watch the shorts and I watch the web series, anything. So I have a good idea of who's good and what they're good at.
Miracle on Christmas Lake
Yeah.
was essentially Green Productions' first major feature.
Correct.
Was there any other productions prior to that that may be lesser known, or?
Yeah, so we did, a really amazing short called The Reflection of Eric King, which I love, and we've talked about developing into a feature and making the characters a little bit younger. We did that as well. We were contracted out by a Saskatchewan company to do a film called Oglethorpe about Bill Goldthorpe. He's Ogie Oglethorpe in the Slapshot films.
Yeah.
And didn't really get seen, and that was, the executive producer got involved and just didn't go well. We were trying to make a period piece, and he wanted to put his kids in with these like high top brand new sneakers, and it's just like, this is not working. But it did get a little traction. It got shown on TSN. It got shown on TSN. And then we ended up doing a web series called Word of Mouth. So kind of like Modern Family meets The Office, but in a dental office. And we shot 5 episodes, about 8 minutes long. You can view that at www.wordofmouthshow.com.
Okay.
And we've had a lot of interest.
Can you write that down?
Or just go to the site. And we had a lot, we had a lot of people look at it. Bell Media looked at it for a little while to make it a full-on web series. We actually have another major television network looking at it right now. I don't know if I can say, so I'm not going to.
Let's transition. So that's kind of where we're at with word of mouth. Let's kind of transition to your current project with Green, Everfall.
Yeah. So that's what. Yeah, I guess Everfall. Yeah.
So production's done, post is done, right?
Yeah.
And well, first let's give the viewers a little bit of a preview of what they could be watching.
Okay.
But where would they be able to watch this eventually?
So Showtime, we have a deal. Middle East bought it. Middle East likes our work. Showtime, we just cut a deal with Showtime. I don't know when, like the deal's done. I just don't know when they're going to start screening it. So I don't have dates on that. That's kind of the most notable. We're also working on a DVD distribution deal with another company right now. Hopefully that goes through. It looks like it is. I don't know. We'll see. So currently, the only place that you can't get it right now, currently, but you should be able to get it on Showtime. I would say next few months.
Okay.
But if you want to go to the Facebook webpage or the Instagram, Everfall Movie, we will post on there when it's available and where you can view it.
Perfect. Well, let's give the viewers a little taste of what they can expect in the next couple of months on Showtime.
What are we going to do about this?
I had an accident. I can still come back. It's not too late.
It's over, Eva. And the sooner you can accept that fact, the better. Let's talk about Daniel.
He has nothing to do with this.
He's as much a part of this as you are. I've seen how he affects you. And I know what he did. You're going to need to make a decision about Daniel, and you're going to need to make it soon. Do you understand?
Make a decision about Daniel.
Do you even remember how hard you pushed her? What she did for you?
What do you want from me?
Do you remember what she gave up for you, for your show? What do you want from me? Sacrifice!
Like, for me, like, visually, it's freaking stunning.
Yeah, cinematographer, Aaron Bernakovich. He's quite a talented guy.
Yeah, it just blew me out of the water when I was watching that. The next step.
Yep.
What's after Everfall?
We're working on we almost closed a deal with a company out of California for Felix. So Felix is about a 10-year-old boy that his family inherits a ventriloquism doll. And when the doll enters the house, the dad starts getting aggressively violent. They start having some really bad luck. And we're playing this as, is that how a 10-year-old deals with domestic violence? Or do we have a possessed doll? Kind of where we're going with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we optioned it from The Blacklist. It's a site down in California that young writers put their stuff on and get picked up for young producers and even studios to look at. And it reviewed quite well. And it's good. It's good, man. My director reads a lot of scripts and, brings me not that many and says, I really like this one. What do you think of this one? Read this one. I don't know where he gets the time. He's like either watching stuff or he's reading stuff. But regardless, he found this one, and so yeah, we're working with the company. We've had other interest in it as well, bigger interest, but I think this is going to be this deal is going to go through, and this is the deal that I think is best for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the contrast. You
Yep.
start off Christmas movie,
Yeah.
kind of suspense thriller,
Yeah.
and again, either a suspense thriller, horror type scenario. Is there a certain genre that Green Productions eventually wants to focus on, or are you guys all enveloping?
I mean, that's one thing I'm really kind of proud of. I look back at all the stuff that I've done. We did the comedy web series, we did the Christmas family movie, we just did this teenage horror film, and we're looking at another teenage horror film. I think we just want to do good work. At the end of the day, I think it's just like, what is inspiring us to do this? Why are we doing this?
One of the previous shows that you were on that definitely highly acclaimed, Fargo.
Yeah,
That was second season, I believe, right?
it was second season, episode 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you mind telling us about that? Time on set, working.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like I was auditioning for a smaller role, like 2 lines, and then a local actor that I love was auditioning for a bigger role at the time, in the same episode. And I called up my agent and I was like, "Hey, what's this role here that blah blah so and so read for?" And she's like, yeah, it says Trooper Bowden, 24 at most." I was like, "Okay, makes sense. He looks younger than me. We're fine." And then she calls me up and she says, "Okay, we're booking you for Fargo." And I was like, "Oh," thinking only like 1-2 lines. And she's like, "But you got a different part." And I was like, "Okay." So then she sent to me, and was like, "Oh, this is the one that I didn't audition for. The bigger part that I didn't audition for. Can you make sure that that's not a mistake?" "Never mind. Just sign the contract. Let's, Jason's a common name. Let's just, maybe they're thinking of a different Jason, but who cares? Let's just get this deal done." And then I went back and, read the script and started prepping, and it's like, Trooper Bowden, 24. So the at most, they changed it. They're just like, no, he does not look 24. So it was great, man. It was 4 days on set. I spent 3 of them driving a 1974 Prowler cop car. And I got to work with Patrick Wilson, who is amazing. He's a really nice guy. And it was at the time, we filmed it in May. And it was when the Flames were playing, who were they playing? Anaheim. They're playing Anaheim in the playoffs. And he's a big Tampa Bay fan. And Tampa Bay was playing, I believe they were playing the Rangers. And he'd have his assistant, like every time we'd cut, she would tell him the score. And then we had a conversation. I was like, "Well, hey, maybe Calgary and Tampa Bay will see each other in the final." And he's like, "Well, we all know how that'll go, won't we?" And I was just like,
That's a low blow, dude.
Yeah, it was man. It's fun, But he was really cool. Like, we were sitting there, and I was like, kind of, he had his car, and I had my car, and they were across the street, and he's like, like, "What's your phone number?" And I was like, "Sure, Patrick Wilson, here you go." And he's like, "I got some really cool shots of you in the Prowler." And I was like, "Awesome." And he sent them to me. So it was great. That set was great. It was a lot of fun. It was goofy. I liked the final cut on it, and yeah, man.
And then we transitioned to another show that's coming up shortly here, actually, in Jan.
Yeah, Jan's great. People watch this show. I will tell you, the writing is amazing, and I've met a bunch of the actors in it, and they are talented. Please watch this show, because you're going to miss out if you don't. Yeah, Jan was great, man. I sat down with my agent. I just got back from shooting a movie in Montreal. And I was leaving to shoot a movie in Montreal. She had an audition for me for one of the cops in it. And I was like, "I can't do that audition. Can you see if I can put it on tape?" And she's like, "You know what? Don't worry about it, because I want you to audition for this role." And I was like, "Okay, great." And she said the name of it, and it was very Asian. And I was like, "I am not Asian." She's like, "Don't worry, that's not why they're calling you that." And so I ended up getting the audition for it, because she didn't even have me audition for this role that she wanted me to audition for. Got the audition, did it, felt okay about it. I was like, it's okay. I auditioned for 2 other parts in the series, and I felt better about them, even though there were smaller parts. And yeah, she calls me up. So I called her and I was like, hey, I noticed that they've given out contracts for Jan, offers for Jan, and did I get anything? And she's like, nope, you did not. And I'm like, okay, great. And I go, have they done other casts? And she's like, I think so. And I was like, yeah, damn. And then she called me back and said, hey, they haven't cast episode 5 and 6 yet, and you're going to network. I was like, oh, great, thank you. She's like, I go, how long does that take usually? She's like, usually 2 to 3 days. I was like, okay. So now I'm like waiting because I really want this role. And it's a great role. It's direct with Jan Arden. So she calls and she says, okay, yeah, you booked it. I was like, great. And then I went on set, and it was just like the other 2 ladies that were Deborah Grover and Zoe Palmer, extremely talented ladies. It's me and these 3 ladies just having it out. The 3 of them were like yelling at me, and I'm just like, so I'm excited for that. And it comes out, and apparently it comes out in March. So please watch Jan, because I'm also set up. It's set up that I could recur, which I would love.
And what network is that on?
CTV.
CTV.
Yeah, CTV and Bell.
I want to thank you. I think we're actually out of time right now.
Okay.
So I want to thank you so much for coming on the
Yeah,
show.
absolutely, bro.
And yeah, I look forward to seeing your stuff.
Oh, yeah. Let me
Jan.
know. And Jan. Watch Jan and Jan for sure, yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, man.